This week's The Sunday Night Talk is up. It's the conference championship, and we know the winners. This week, me and Omar sit down for our Sunday Night Talk. We had 2 games this week. You know that. AFC Championship, NFC Championship. Of course, we break it all down. But do not forget, the football movie bracket playoff, their championships will be revealed as well. The Super Bowl of the playoff football movie bracket is revealed as well. But before that, also this week on my pod, we reviewed Night Stalker, the documentary series. That is up. Part 2 is coming up tomorrow as you listen to this Sunday night. So look for that. Not to mention Running It Back coming up on Thursday as well, my interview show. But right now, the Sunday Night Talk, we have the game breakdown, the questions, the awards, not to mention a couple of deep dive into football lore. Brew up something hot, throw another log on the fire. The Sunday Night Talk happens right now. All right, we are back. Conference Championship Sunday just completed. We just watched Kansas City, Buffalo. It is, what time are we recording this? 7:39 recording this, West Coast time. Omar Carmona joining me as well on this glorious Sunday. Buffalo, Kansas City.
Here.
Drinking. What are you drinking?
It's Championship Sunday. It is such a great Sunday when you think about it. It's really like you get 2 Super Bowl games, right? I mean, there's a lot of hype. I'm not saying it's Super Bowl Sunday, but it's pretty close, and so two games, 4 very good teams. I'm really excited about the Super Bowl.
I always thought there was a good argument that this is the best Sunday in the NFL as far as the purist goes, because we've got the right amount of hype. We've got the best teams in the leagues going head to head. And the Super Bowl, of course, is the championship, but we have so much distractions going into the Super Bowl potential. We got commercials talk. We've got halftime performer talk. We always have talk of like which family members the players give tickets to and which ones they don't. We've got the potential for them getting into trouble. And you sort of forget about the game a little bit, just a little bit.
There's so much hype, so much
hype. And a lot of times the Super Bowl gets off to a slow start because of it. So the conference championship weekend is really one for the purist, I think. And we got treated to a couple of doozies, a couple good ones. It did not disappoint. I thought we had some good matchups. We just finished up Buffalo KC. KC wins handily. So my question to you is...
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know how high I've been on Josh Allen all year long, right? I mean, I told you from week 1, this kid is going to be a stud. I have no reason to change my mind. He is going to be back. I promise you. Josh Allen is, I think, the future of the NFL.
So did this game surprise you? Did it go as expected? Or did you see something else happen in this game?
I think it went as expected. I mean, gosh, it's not only that Patrick Mahomes is a weapon himself. You know what I mean? This is an MVP caliber player. I don't know if he's going to get the award this year with Aaron Rodgers, the season he had, but Patrick Mahomes is such a weapon. And then for him to have all these weapons, I mean, when you have Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, you have Travis Kelce, the running back Hilaire. I mean, it's just weapon after weapon after weapon after weapon. And so I don't think it's surprising. I mean, I don't really think any defense at this point can contain them. What do you think?
I thought we were going to see a little bit more of a chess match early. I did think Kansas City was going to run away with it. Like you said, too much speed, too much offense, just too much clicking too from the offense is just so locked in. But I did think Buffalo was going to play with them for
Right.
longer than they did. I thought we were going to have a couple critical possessions into the third, and Casey was kind of in control the whole time of this game. It got away from. We had some fun garbage time in this
Great
game,
garbage
though.
time.
Yeah,
Great
we
garbage
had fun
time.
garbage time.
Now,
Storyline.
what did you think about that Bills touchdown where they went for it on 2, where they could have made it a 2-score ball game with an extra point, as opposed to missing the 2-point conversion, and it's a 3-score ball game.
Yeah, they messed up. They didn't do the math right. Or
But I thought doesn't every coach have like
yeah.
a grid?
This
It's
was a
like,
fairly easy one to figure out too. Is like you
yeah,
get
you'd much rather have the guaranteed 2-point, 2-turnover game as opposed to a 3-turnover game. But call me crazy. I mean, I'm obviously not an NFL coach, but interesting, very questionable calls by the coaches, the losing coaches, this game, and we'll get to the Packers
definitely
coach call
a
later.
questionable call Sunday for the coaching staff. With the Bills, before I get into my storylines going into the game, I was rewatching every conference championship game I could find on YouTube this
Good.
week. And I watched 2014 Packers at Seahawks. That
Oh,
that really weird championship game where it goes into overtime. The Packers are winning handily the whole game, and somehow the Seahawks pull it off with the aid of a botched onside kick by the Packers. And that game's really weird because it's sunny out, yet it's raining. And then the messed up onside kick. And I was like thinking, all right, don't rule out the Bills. This could be one of those games. This could be one of those games where they get an onside kick or two, they get a lazy turnover or something, and they're in this game. So don't rule them out. But KC put the chokehold on them, and they never really got to threatening to them. My storylines going into the game, though, Mahomes, number one, Mahomes is back. And then
we heard issues, possible concussion last week. We know turf toe, but Mahomes is Mahomes.
Nothing really threatened him not playing. But can I say, internet is too good with the fakes these days. I'm on Instagram on Wednesday, and it has a icon. It has a post that says, "Breaking news: Mahomes out of AFC Championship." And I'm like, he is? So of course I scrambled to find headlines. You can't be making good Instagram fake posts because I fall for it every time.
Every time.
Yeah, every time they're making good posts of Mahomes quitting the league and taking a boat to Thailand, and I'll believe it. So we had Mahomes back, and then I finally heard a good explanation of his injury last week. I think it was the Fox crew that reported that he essentially got choked out by the guy, and that made the most sense. He lost oxygen that way. I was like, oh, well, finally, that makes sense because I never saw the impact to the head. Yeah, he looked dazed, so something was up. So we had Mahomes was back, number one storyline.
Right.
Second storyline, can the Bills erase history? Can the Bills put some, I don't know what you would call it because this wasn't the Super Bowl, but could they start to resurrect a Super Bowl team?
I think, Patrick, that's a great word that you just used. It's a resurrection, and we're watching the resurrection. I think they are going to be back. This season was not a failure. Although, if you probably talk to them tonight, it is a failure when you don't make it to the Super Bowl. But I think this franchise is going places. Obviously the Bills benefited from the Brady Belichick divorce, and I definitely think that with other franchises down, like the Jets, the Patriots, I think it's the Bills' time. It's definitely the Bills' time, and they have such a great fan base, the Bills Mafia. I was rooting for them. it's just one of those tortured franchises. I want to put them with the Browns, yeah, a few franchises, the Lions, they've been around for so long, but haven't been able to get past that hump,
Yeah.
and the Vikings. Um, so the Bills are just one of those teams that I just root for because great fans, they've come so close so many times, but they'll be back. So if you're a Bills fan, you're not going to be happy tonight. I don't blame you, but obviously I was there last year, but my team has won, so if you're a Bills fan, rest easy. It's going to get a lot better.
And in a stacked AFC too, we're going to have Bills, we're going to have Cleveland, KC again. It's going to be a lot of heavy hitting teams potentially in the next seasons to come. And then my last storyline was, will Andy Reid coach the perfect game again? You saw him execute really, really well against a Cleveland team last week, had the right call for every situation. So I was thinking, is he going to have the right call in the situations? It turned out he didn't need it. Besides the fumbled punt that KC had early, Buffalo really didn't even score a touchdown.
Oh, they
They
really
really
did.
benefited early, and then the Chiefs just kind of caught up to him and passed him.
It's definitely a type of game. It's we're in a league now where yes, it's very quarterback driven, but what makes it so quarterback driven is, when you think about all these quarterbacks and the success they're having, it's because of their weapons. And I do believe that the Bills may be a weapon or two short. When you stand them side by side with the Chiefs.
Yeah, what do you think they lacked tonight as far as a weapon? What did they need, say, on the offensive side? To me, I thought they needed the big tight end guy. They needed their own Kelsey. They
That
got
will,
they got
you know,
Diggs, they got Beasley. They were running okay. But to me, they needed one more offensive guy to throw it to.
I think you're right. They need one more guy. I mean, Beasley, Diggs, they're great. Knox is not a bad tight end, but he's not a Travis Kelsey.
Yeah,
So I think again, maybe that third big receiver that comes in, and uh, it also seems that they do have more of a running back by committee type thing. Singletary's a young tight end who's I'm sorry, a young running back that's very good, but he had some drops, coming out of the backfield this game. So I don't know. I think but keep going with ride this wave with Josh Allen. He's going to be spectacular.
definitely they were the team that really, with the loss, didn't really feel that bad about it. Of all the four teams that would lose today, this was the one that would walk away and say, like, no, we got a lot more down
Right.
the road for us. So I don't feel that bad for them. So the game starts. How did you feel that first 4th-and-1 conversion by the Bills early?
Oh, I mean, you're,
Convert
you're
on
pumped.
fourth.
And it's so great to see a team on the road, an underdog, go for it like that. So they played it right. And again, Sean McDermott, I think, is a fantastic coach, and I think that the Bills, that's a great fit. But I love seeing risks taken like that. And again, it's an easy. These are easy decisions to make when you have a Josh Allen at quarterback.
Yeah, that was big. I thought, okay, they're up for the fray tonight. They're converting force. The only tricky part was they weren't really getting touchdowns. And then they put this stat up. KC has the worst defense in the league in the red zone, and yet Buffalo still can't score any touchdowns on them. So
Right.
that's maybe a good sign of a championship team, is whatever you're bad at, all of a sudden you're good at it in the
Right.
playoffs
Right.
for
Right.
some
Right.
reason. So that stat sort of surprised me, because then after that, pretty much after the muff punt, Buffalo's offense really stalled every single time.
And yeah, it really did. They've played a better game in the past, but I mean, how can you say that even if you brought your better game, are you going to get past Kansas City? That's such a great team. And I believe they are going to be favorite. We got to look it up right now, Patrick, what the initial spread is of the
Mm.
big Super Bowl 55 game. But But I definitely think that Buffalo's definitely played a better games. And and all I could think about, and call me nostalgic, but all I could think about was the Jim Kellys, the Andre Reeds, the Thurman Thomases. Are they watching this game saying, "Gosh, we got close again"? The Bruce Smiths, the Daryl Tallies, the Mark Kelsos. You remember those teams,
Yeah, those names were synonymous with
yeah,
Buffalo.
Buffalo. Norwood was the kicker that missed that field goal. And then they got they got another lights out kicker. Was it Steve Christie? And I remember, James Lofton ended his career there. Just great Buffalo teams, and it, they were rooting for this Bills team to go over
Yeah.
that hump, but didn't happen.
The storylines would have been epic if the Bills had won. Not to mention, like, they were doing a rundown of the Bills' disappointments. We know the 4 Super Bowls, but don't forget the Music City Miracle too.
Oh, that was
that was another huge disappointment. But yeah, the story. Can you imagine Jim Kelly, Josh Allen sitting down, all the talk, the defensive guys,
Stephon Diggs and Andre Reed having a moment like, this is what you got to do. This is how you got to prep. Thurman Thomas taking Singletary.
Yeah, we would have had
to the
some good
side.
interactions there.
I mean, all of these guys, Tally and Bruce Smith, taking Edmonds and Trey Davis White just to the side and saying, "Look, this is what we got to do." And it's such a remarkable franchise.
Yeah, that would have been epic. All the tie-ins with the 90s Bills would have been great. Just too much KC. I think Kelsey must have caught like 10 passes in one half. He was like, just every time he turned around, he was making an easy catch. And he even drops one too. And he's making, it seemed like he made like 12 catches.
And what about the yardage that Tyreek Hill just puts up? I mean, it's like you give him a little, you give him 6-yard pass and he bursts open to 70 yards. It's crazy.
Right. Right. He's that burner that you just got to get him the ball somehow. And he can dance around for 30 more yards.
I'm not putting him in the same breath as Jerry Rice or, the Larry Fitzgeralds, Randy Mosses of the world. But wow, I mean, he's something special. The athleticism, the speed, the respect that the defensive backs give him. So they gotta. I mean, you can't play him one-on-one. You gotta like just basically surround him. But if you give him too much space, he's gonna burst through. And it's just an incredible wide receiver, an incredible weapon to have.
That's got to be the biggest part to game plan against for Tampa Bay going into the Super Bowls. What's going to be our defensive strategy against this guy? Is it double? Is it zone? Is it blitz? Is it don't blitz? That's got to be the hardest thing that they've got to work on in the weeks leading up to it.
I will say, and we're going to talk about Tampa, but I also don't think that the Chiefs have played a defense like Tampa Bay's this year. I think this is a special defense that Tampa Bay is bringing to the table, and we'll talk about them in the next game. But again, Chiefs move on. Obviously, they're going to be the presumptive favorite, in the Super Bowl. So let's see what happens. It's such a rare feat to a two-peat, right? I mean, we're talking about a two-peat. The Packers won the first two. The Steelers did a two-peat a couple of times. The 49ers did it once. The Cowboys did it. Am I missing? The Broncos did it.
Right.
Patriots have done it. So, it's not a lot. It hasn't happened often.
Yeah, that's true. They can start to make their mark in history.
Right. Now we're talking like, if you win this two-peat, you're one of what, 6-7 teams and that can do something. And then we're all talking about something that's never been done. And next year we're going to be talking about the possible three-peat, and that's never been done.
is the carrot. Yeah, dangling at the
end. Niners came close. The Steelers could have done it, but
Cowboys came close.
Cowboys came very close. So we're talking uncharted territory for this Chiefs team.
Yeah. Couple final notes on the KC game. As soon as Josh Allen threw that pick at the start of the fourth quarter, just all the air was out of the balloon. I think you knew what was going to happen at that point, except for that close second onside kick. They got the first one. That second one was kind of close too.
Right.
It took the weird bounce. And then on the slow motion replay, they show the guy doesn't really catch it that cleanly. He catches it in his hands and he's pressing it up against his helmet. So a close onside kick. And then final, tell me if you thought this, when they're presenting the AFC Championship trophy, the owner of the Chiefs, the Lamar Hunt son or whatever, I got to tell you, he brought the energy. He got up there and he was like, let's hear it, KC, for the Chiefs. We're the AFC champ. I like these little like presentations where the CBS person tries to present. It's so stiff. And he brought it. I got to give it to him. I don't know if he watched the NFC one earlier that day and saw how boring it was, but he was like, all right, I'm going. He went full Vince McMahon up there.
Did you watch the championship presentation?
I did this year. Yeah, I wanted to see him this year.
I've never been able to get into it because the thing is, like, it is a big celebration, and I can't discount the accomplishment. But like, you still got a game to go before you're smiling. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I've never been a huge fan. Obviously, the first game, regardless if it's the AFC or NFC, it's so awful to watch. I mean, if you're the team that wins the first game of Championship Sunday, you know everyone just changes the channel right after that last.
Right. That's probably why I've seen so few of them.
Right. So if you're gonna watch and it's gonna be the second game, you know, I think the only second championship celebration I ever saw was the year that Tom Brady beat the Chiefs a few years ago and then beat the Rams. But the fact that everybody was counting Brady out and, you know, giving it to Mahomes already, and that was at Kansas City. I think that's been the only championship celebration I've seen because it was good to see Brady, but. Yeah, I'm not a big championship game post-game celebration guy.
It's really hard also because they do it on the field. We don't do it in locker rooms anymore. So if the away team wins, then the ambient sound is already down.
Do you think it's because Deion Sanders ruined it in the locker room by throwing that water at Tim McCarver during the World Series?
That's what I love. That's what I want to see. I want to see the drama. I want to see them yell at reporters. I want to see them, take their.
I like that some teams are beer teams and they have, Bud Light or Miller Lite. I don't think I've ever seen another beer, or maybe Coors Light, but and then they have the goggles. I know the baseball and basketball.
They do the goggles. That's true.
Goggles. I love the champagne. I think the champagne, I think it's so classy, but I think the champagne must be reserved for the final.
Maybe let's make that a rule. Beer for the conference championships, champagne for the Super Bowl.
I love that rule.
That makes sense. Is baseball the only sport where they still do it in the clubhouse? Does basketball do it in the I don't think basketball does it in the locker room.
No, basketball, they do it outside. I think they celebrate inside, but they do their post-game stuff on the court. But baseball, you're right. Baseball, they do a ceremony on the diamond, but they always they at the end of the whether it be game 6, game 7, they show like the plastic
that's what I love. I love when the camera starts showing a footage of the locker room and they get the champagne.
And then you see like two guys wearing gloves and they're cleaning they're just wiping the trophy at the very end. That's awesome.
Yeah, if we took a vote, I'd vote for it to go back to the locker rooms. There's something about that. And then we got the footage of the players coming into the locker room and the dudes passing them out the championship T-shirt as they come in and a bottle of champagne. I love that.
I remember, Jimmy Johnson, getting his head, rubbed and his hair going all over. They messed his hair up. Back when the Cowboys, I agree. I think the locker room championship is so special. So let's bring that back. Let's just do it
for that.
Let's just do it I remember the old Celtics Lakers NBA, finals back in the 80s. They did the presentation in the locker room.
Yep, that's how I always remember it. That's probably where
I
I started to
remember
think that.
I remember Brent Musburger saying, Magic, you're great. This is your champion. So let's go back to
and then the announcer would sort of he would get some champagne shrapnel too, because they would try to be dumping on Magic Johnson and would get on Brent Musburger too.
Right.
So that was great too. I love the locker room celebration. And then little bonus points to Andy Reid. He gets up to the microphone, and essentially it's like a presentation, because they just have a microphone there because nobody's around them and they have to talk. And Andy Reid tries to get the crowd to do a chant. I was like, man, that's ambitious, but he went for it. That was good. So fantastic. That was
Andy Reid. Andy Reid, you're going back.
Andy Reid going back. That was the late game. But I think the best game we would agree on of the day was this Tampa Bay Green Bay game. Storylines going into the game: Brady versus Rodgers. Also, personal storyline: I got talked into the Bucks. I listened to way too many podcasts, TV shows, radio shows, and I'm convinced. Some people say some people are just more susceptible to being hypnotized. I'm that way with sports predictions. You can talk me into any prediction. I listened to Peter Schrager of NFL Network talk about the Buccaneers defender who was back and who hadn't played since week 8 or something. His name was Vita Vea. And I'm like, I don't even know if that's a name. It sounds more like bread to me, but I'm like, I'm in. This dude is going to make a difference. So I listened to that. And then, last storyline, Rodgers really does not have a very good conference championship game record. He was 1-3 going into this game. So that was on my mind. How about that game? Were you surprised? Your daughter picked this game.
My daughter picked the game, but I picked the game. Honestly, Pat, I was not at all surprised at this one. We saw the regular season game. I did not think that this game was going to be a blowout like the first game. I did not think anything close to that. But there's just something about Tom Brady. You can't say that there's a cold weather factor with the quarterback, because he's played 9 championship games in Foxborough. You know what I mean? It's like, that's crazy.
The Tuck Rule game. Hello.
So he's been there. He's done that. Aaron Rodgers coming off an MVP season, and I think he should be the MVP. What's the stat? 40-something touchdown passes versus 5 interceptions, and that's we're talking insane numbers here. And then they're back to their second straight championship game. But when it's all said and done, Tom Brady moves on. Here's a surprising stat to me: Aaron Rodgers 1-4 in NFC championship games. So what's his legacy? So when it's all said and done, who do Packers fans revere more? Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. That's tough. It seems Aaron Rodgers is very unhappy all the time. Not to say Favre wasn't. Of course, his last years he got traded and stuff. He wanted out. But I don't know. I'm placing Aaron Rodgers more and more in the Ben Roethlisberger category. Lots of wins, lots of playoff wins, 1 Super Bowl title. But really a lot of poor conference championship appearances. So
he's only won 1, and it was back in 2000, and it was back in 2010 when he won his first one. He's won, so he's lost 4 straight.
Correct. I don't know what to think of him overall. And the other weird thing is we're talking about him like he's going to win the MVP, which they announced the week before the Super Bowl, I think. They used to announce it at the end of the regular season. It seems weird that they announced it there, because say Aaron Rodgers wins the MVP. Does he even care at that point that he's
the season? This for him, we just talked about the Bills, and I told you that they need to keep their heads up. Although they didn't get to where they wanted to, this was still a successful season. On the flip side, I'm talking about the other losing team in the championship games, and this is a failure for them. I mean, they fell flat. They fell flat, and it was Tom Brady that actually gave him life when when you throw 3 interceptions within 7 attempts. That's giving your team life, and they couldn't capitalize.
I did get pretty nostalgic before this game started. I was having flashbacks to the Brett Favre, Warren Sapp years of
Me
Tampa
too.
Bay, but when they would talk
that.
trash against each other.
Remember, the big stat back then was that the Bucks hadn't won a game under 30-something degree weather and ever until the Warren Sapp finally broke through on one. I don't think it was a championship game, but I think it was a divisional game that the Buccaneers eventually broke through and won a cold weather game.
Those are good battles. Those are good offense versus defense battles.
Those great games where the camera would focus on Brett Favre and he would try to be drawing Warren Sapp and Simeon Rice off, and then he'd just come back and laugh because he knew they weren't going to move. But great, it's nice to see the Bucks back in the Super Bowl. But this is the Brady Bowl now. I mean, as great as Patrick Mahomes is, understand something. The next 2 weeks is basically the Brady Bowl. I'm convinced. This is the Brady Bowl. It's Tom Brady who leaves the AFC for the first time in his career, goes to the NFC, and now he's in the Super Bowl. So today, Tom Brady equaled Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees with NFC championship victories. How crazy is that?
His stats are just going to be unobtainable. They're just going to be in their own league. He's played long enough. He's won so many games. He's won playoffs, Super Bowls.
But Patrick, this is his first year in the NFC. This is his first year.
Yeah. So what other leagues can he go to after this? Can they start up the XFL again? Just see if he can win a couple of those.
Maybe Donald the Donald doesn't have shit to do right now. Let's see if he wants to start the USFL again.
Yeah, start another league.
Let's get the Steamboat started again, and then the Gunslingers or whoever the heck they had, and let's.
How about this for Donald Trump? Like him or not, he gets kicked off of Twitter. Isn't it bad when you get kicked off of something that OJ's still on?
Oh my God.
When you're like, we're going to keep OJ and you're out. All right. OJ's golfing. He's better for us. You're out of here.
when the night, look, things are bad when the Night Stalker is getting more airtime than you are, and you're a former president this week. I'm only saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that. I did a whole podcast on the Night Stalker. Now that I think about it,
I did see that, and real quick, I did see that, and I hope the viewers tune in. That was a great take that you and your brother Andrew had on the Night Stalker. Great series, but we'll talk about that later. Honestly, let's give Tom Brady his props.
Yeah. Final Trump thought. I didn't know you could get impeached twice. And if you can get impeached twice, what's the point of getting impeached? If nothing happens, that's like saying, all right, you are expelled from school and you're suspended. I don't get the point anymore.
Right. Well, so for our
whatever, he set the record. Maybe if you want to be the best, he did get impeached twice. So that's pretty good.
He did. He was breaking records.
Anybody can do it once.
Anybody, and he proved that he can do it twice.
The first half of this Tampa Bay game, I don't think Tampa Bay could have played any more perfect offensively in that first half. And then that takes us to the end of the first half with the we're going to punt. No, let's go for it. Touchdown. Tampa Bay series. How did you find that to be? Because that was the biggest swing point for me of the game.
Patrick, I'll be honest with you. I got to be up front with everyone here today. I was going for the Buccaneers. I was rooting for them because, and not because I have no connection to the Buccaneers. Obviously you see them right there, and I have no connection to that franchise whatsoever. But when you're watching Tom Brady, it's like, wow, we're watching something that we may never again see in our lifetimes, right? I mean, maybe our kids may see it one day, but who knows? I, I don't know what the hell those Packers were thinking. You're fourth and goal, and it's Tom Brady on the other side. And it's not okay. Granted, there's been 3 interceptions that were just, some tipped and some, bad throws. Where I get that. One was a tip ball, and the other was just a great pass rush, and he just threw it up in the air when, I know what he was trying to do, and I knew he was trying to get Mike Evans, out there on a streak, and but I just think that if it's Tom Brady on the other side, why the hell are you going to not go for it? And it's not
Oh,
like
you're talking about the Packers one. Yeah. I'm talking, before we get to that, I'm talking the end of the first half when Tampa Bay goes for it on fourth down.
Oh, that one. I'm sorry. Maybe I had too much
We'll
bourbon.
get to that. Well, it leads up into that too with a missed hold.
So let's talk about that. What do you think about that? So it's fourth down, fourth and short, right?
I think it's 4th and 2, 4th and 3. The punt team comes out, and then
they come out, and then a timeout's called, and so I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe there was a timing issue. They didn't want to lose those 5 yards. Maybe their punter has a certain comfort zone. But then you see Tom Brady putting a strap back on. You're like, where the hell are you going? And he's going back out there, but not to throw a little post, a little out, and maybe get 5-6 yards and then dump out. And he went out there to throw a bomb, from midfield with a second left, and that was just such a crazy play. So now the question is, who's calling the shots in Tampa Bay? Is it Tom Brady or is it Coach Arians? I mean,
yeah, that's a good question. How did this happen? I think we're going to find out at some point this week, but who talked who into going for it for that fourth down?
Does Tom Brady come off the field and say, hey man, I noticed you sent the punter out there. What the fuck? And so, was it Tom Brady that called the timeout? I mean, we got to get the cameras on that. Did he say, you know what, ref? This guy doesn't know what he's doing. I'm taking over from here. I call timeouts and I review plays. So I don't know. That was such an interesting back and forth. And the fact that Brady put himself back on the field to throw that pass, and it was just, and another, I mean, if you're the Packers, how are you going to get burned that way? You know what I mean?
That's my biggest gripe is we've seen this happen 3 different times this season. We saw it with Raiders Jets, where it was like, just don't get burned deep. They get burned deep. We saw it with Miami Raiders. Don't get burned deep. Miami burns them deep. And then we see it again with this at the end of the half. You go from punting it away to touchdown.
Right.
That I don't understand that defense is just keep them in front of you. Don't get burned deep. That was rough. That was a rough one.
Terrible.
They get the touchdown at the to end that first half. They play a perfect offensive half. Second half starts with 2 big plays. Aaron Jones drops a pass. Next play, Aaron Jones catches a pass and fumbles. Just like the Josh Allen interception, a lot of airs out of the balloon now. It's rolling downhill for the Buccaneers. Aaron Jones did not have. There were a lot of drops in general, but Aaron Jones had a really bad game.
And he didn't come back,
He didn't come back in. He said he was injured. We'll never know if he was or not.
I don't think he's ever going to play for the Green Bay Packers again. I know. I'm really saying that. He's a free agent, and apparently he wants big-time money. He fires his agent, gets Drew Rosenhaus. I think there's a reason why the Packers have kept Jamal Williams, and they drafted the this kid who's not bad, Dylan. Um, I think that was intentional. I think Aaron Jones is done. I think he's a free agent and he's going to go to some other team.
Running backs seem very disposable these days. It seems like we don't see running backs have a long shelf life anymore. Just name all the lead rushers in the last 5 years. There's a huge list. There's a huge, like, kind of hot rusher. Remember Ray Rice, Zeke Elliott is in there. Who is the other guy? He was on Pittsburgh. He went to the Jets. Le'Veon Bell.
Right.
We have a list of running backs that are just sort of hot for a second, and then they're not. So I think it makes sense that if he wants big money, the Packers say, all right, go shop around. We'll see what you get. And then somehow the Packers get back into this game with all the Brady interceptions.
Right.
That's how they get back
into
it.
And they got back into it. Again, I don't think all were Brady's fault, but definitely that took a toll on the Buccaneers, but they just couldn't, the Packers couldn't capitalize, so so let's move into what I was talking about earlier.
Right. This leads us into the fourth down.
What the hell? What would you have done? Obviously, Patrick, and in high school you played football, so I'll defer to you. But what the hell? I mean, you gotta, in my opinion, you gotta go for it. You don't know if you're gonna get that ball back.
I will say, when it comes to my high school playing, I don't know if I would use the word I played football so much as I was involved in football. I didn't exactly do a lot of playing. I was almost kind of a hanger for the uniform at some point. Me and Jerome Sierra would wear the uniform and try and sneak water.
There you go.
On the side. That was our playing career. But the Packers are down 7, and let's see, I wrote it down. There's 2:05 left on the clock. It's 4th and goal. They're down 7. They elect to kick the field goal. They get the field goal, and then essentially the Bucs choke them out. They just run out the clock. They get the first down. And the Packers don't even get a shot at it. That is really, really surprising that they don't go for it. And I don't know what the decision was there. They're hoping to stop the Bucs, obviously, but not even a chance. Not even a chance at the 6.
Right.
Did it surprise you as well?
It surprised me. I think that you're at home, and if Aaron Rodgers is your MVP, and I think he earned the MVP this year. Although I think Josh Allen will prevent it from being a unanimous MVP, but it's going to be his MVP. You put the ball in your MVP's hands. You don't let your kicker go out there and you go for it.
Yeah, that was a really odd decision. And then they never see the ball again. They just run it out on them. I wonder what the thinking was. They had a couple of questionable red zone series where they just couldn't punch it in. Rodgers would throw it I think he threw it to Devontae Adams once, just out of bounds.
Right.
There was a drop in there. They couldn't put it together. And then they have a chance to go for it on 4th, and they kick the field goal, and they never see the ball again. So
never again. So
very, very, very odd. And then we have
what did you think of the pass interference at the end?
Okay, I have it right here. It was 3rd and 4, and we have, by my record, maybe the latest flag in history to come and do there. The hard part with arguing against this penalty is it's very obvious. He's pulling on this guy's shirt, which I didn't know shirts could be that long. First of all, he's got his shirt pulled, and it's
such a long shirt. It is such a long t-shirt.
You know how like linemen cut their sleeves, so they don't have a lot of material, so they can't be grabbed. I think receivers have baggy clothes for just the opposite reason, so they can be grabbed and can be more seen. My first question is, was it catchable? Was this pass catchable?
It was not catchable. That's
the only argument, is this was not catchable. And then second, they had been calling very little holding and pass interference penalties all game long, and then they call this one. But
Up
it's
until
obvious. But was the pass catchable? That's the question.
up until that point, they made 3 penalty calls for a whole game. You know what I mean? That's insane. But I don't think it was catchable. I don't know how they obviously saw it differently, but it wasn't catchable.
I think that's the argument. Yeah, I would like to see another angle to see if it was or not. Did you catch this though? Did you catch Rodgers going at the referee from the sideline? And he's going
Yeah.
at him hard, and a coach kind of gets in between them too. I don't know what they were arguing about, but Rodgers just seemed pissed. He seemed fuming at the referee, and it's odd that, a QB yells at the ref while he's on the sideline, while his defense is on the field. That was kind of telling too, that Rodgers he's ready to blow at any second. How about this? Did you catch this? There's a part where they show Aikman and Buck in the booth.
Yeah.
And they have the table, and they've got Hall's lozenges. They've got a box of tissues, and they have kind of like a insulated cup, and steam's coming out of the top. There's obviously a hot beverage in there. I'm like, what the hell's going on here, man? You got your bedroom in the
right.
press box. And I was a little jealous. I was like, I want some Halls. Those are good, man.
Well, yeah, they were great, but
yeah. And the bag was open too. You could tell it was ripped open. So somebody was eating those Halls. I did like that. So that's how that game ended. Very curious ending to that game.
Extremely, but you're right.
Just to let's wet our beaks with. Let me ask you this question. Okay. After the game in the locker room, Rodgers does one of these 3 things. Which one does he do? Does he launch into an epic rant, chair throwing, finger pointing? We'd be ahead if you motherfuckers could hold on to the ball. Or does he get philosophical? Or no words at all? He just leaves.
Oh, great question. He leaves. I think we just witnessed Aaron Rodgers playing his last game for the Green Bay Packers.
He just leaves, just takes off.
I don't think he appreciated. Well, we never heard any great stories about him being a great teammate. So let's forget about any great speeches. We're coming back. That ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen with Aaron Rodgers. So let's call it for what it is. I think he's done, and good for him. He's been a great quarterback. It's questionable the kind of guy he is. I mean, maybe there's another side to the story. Apparently he doesn't talk to his family, but that was all revealed on The Bachelor, and then, not many of us are watching The Bachelor. I know you are, but
I watched a few seasons.
who knows?
I want to hear we're maybe a few years away from it, but the Tell All Rodgers book. I would love to read the stories of texts he sent to teammates or angry sort of a huddle rants. There's got to be a tell-all book from, say, a Jordy Nelson or somebody that played a couple years with him, that was in with him and then fell out type of thing. I feel Rodgers is very mysterious. I don't know what's going on with him.
Right. Who knows? I just don't think he's playing again for the Green Bay Packers.
If you would have said this 2 weeks ago, I would have said no way. But now watching this game, now I believe it. Now I'm like, he's going to leave.
Hey, and let's talk about this. At the end of the game, he kind of threw his coach under the bus. He basically made a statement.
Oh, did he? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he basically said that had he known his coach was going to kick it on 4th down, he was the one that was charged with calling the 3rd down play. Had he known LaFleur was going to kick it, he may have called another play.
Is this LaFleur's first year?
No, he took them to the championship game last year.
He did last year. Okay.
Yep.
I couldn't remember, but there's no way LaFleur's running that team. It's Rodgers who's calling all the shots. I got to think. So that's a big question mark. Long off-season drama I think we're going to have with this.
For sure.
All right. That moves us on to, now that we have the Super Bowl matchup set, that moves us on to the questions I had a
Let's
lot of
go.
questions this week. A
Lots.
lot of questions. I whittled it
Let's
down
go.
to
Let's go.
five questions. Here we go. Question number one. Tampa Bay is in the Super Bowl. They're playing at their home field, first time ever. I
Ever.
looked it up.
The closest thing ever was San Francisco in 84 playing in Palo Alto. That was the closest.
Yeah, I found one more. 79, the LA Rams play the Steelers in the Rose Bowl.
Oh, there you go.
That was the two I found. So, question number one, what's going to be different about a team playing a Super Bowl in their actual home field?
It's Tom Brady. So at least for the Bucks perspective, I think if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you look to Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, and you just say, tell us what to do these next 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Don't ask any questions. I think tonight Brady and Gronk should be huddled up in a room somewhere and just saying, look, what's the plan? Let's map it out for these kids. They don't know what they're doing. God bless them. They don't know what they're doing. So I think that's the advantage. I don't think the advantage is having a home field advantage. I think the advantage is having Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, who've been there, done that. So let's start with that.
Okay? There is less chance of potentially getting into trouble too, because you're not in a new city and you're already in your hometown.
Conceivably,
and nothing's open anyway.
You're spending the night with your wife, right? I mean, you should be. You should be.
They can sleep in their own bed. Maybe they do hotels anyway, but you get the chance of even sleeping in your own bed. Practicing at your own practice facilities
that helps.
That's got to be huge. So that's different.
A lot of these guys have, moved their families to their hometowns. So it's not, you don't have to worry about, I got to get
hotel. That's true. Moving your families that come in.
Tickets, you don't have to get your family hotels because they're conceivably staying at your place.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. This is becoming more of an advantage than I thought. Question number two. What is Bill Belichick's mood like tonight? Number one, is there a congratulatory text from Bill Belichick to Tom Brady tonight? No way?
No.
I think he sends him a text. You don't think so?
No, he's not going to send him a text. No. No.
What's his mood like tonight?
It's Bill Belichick. He's going to say that he's planning for next year already. He's probably not even going to watch the Super Bowl. He's going to be on his boat somewhere, game planning, looking at the roster, making decisions. That's what Bill Belichick is going to do.
Yeah.
I don't want the parade to start because Brady did this in New England. Let's start crapping on Bill Belichick. Let's call it for what it is. Bill Belichick is the greatest coach in NFL history. Would you agree with that?
I agree. What? I agree. Well, I was thinking of some other coaches in my head to compare him to. Coach wise, just the record alone. I would say you have to give it to him. Yeah.
So he's not gonna make any statement, and I'm sure a lot of people are calling him tonight, asking him if he's gonna wish Tom Brady well, but don't. That's all noise.
Sounds like a somber mood, almost a disconnected mood from Bill Belichick. Like he's almost game planning is like, could we have beaten the Chiefs with Cam Newton? He was almost putting together a game plan if he were to play the Chiefs this week. So it doesn't sound like you're in the boat of him congratulating Tom Brady.
No.
Okay. Question number 3. This pertains to the halftime show that's going to happen at the Super Bowl.
Patrick, I'm so worried about this. Go on. What's the question?
Halftime this year is performed by The Weeknd. So my question is,
or is it The Weeknd or The Weeknd? I think he's missing an E there.
The Weeknd is The Weeknd one guy? I don't want to sound like old man Ramirez here, but The Weeknd is one guy? Is this a band? Does he
Yeah,
play
yeah. I
instruments?
don't know what this is. This is definitely different. And on his videos, obviously the blinding lights video, he's eating blood. I don't know if he's a cannibal. I don't know what the hell's going on over there. But it's a whole scene. He's got this whole scene going on.
But it is one guy. And what does he
But
do?
there's one guy, and not to dis. Apparently, he has like 5 top hits, and yes, I think he's very talented. But is it too early to put him as the Super Bowl headliner? Well, we've had headliners in the Super Bowl like Michael Jackson, we've had Timberlake, we've had U2, we've had Prince, we've had the Stones. Is it too early to give him, Coldplay? Is it too early to give him this type of spotlight? What do you think?
I would say, I don't think it's too early. I think he can put on a good show. As someone who's on the very outsides of the entertainment industry, anytime you get offered something, sometimes your first reaction is, all right, who said no? I
Right.
think
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I think that's what we got this year.
Was
I
he
think
busy? I don't know.
They always start at the top and then they just work their way down. And was it 8 people said no? Was it 4 people? Was it 25 before they got to the Weekend? We don't know.
I'd much rather see Queen Bey. You know what I mean? Like I'd much rather see Beyonce go at it. But I just, one thing I've always loved about Super Bowl performances is that the headliner goes back to like one of their first hits. You know what I mean? It's like Prince in the mid 2000s is singing "Purple Rain" from the 1980s. That's insane to me. You know what I mean? U2 in 2001 is singing something from
from Boy or from
it's crazy.
Yeah, singing Sunday Bloody Sunday.
Right, exactly. And then you got over here Weeknd that is going to be doing something from a month ago, and I'm just not into it.
Yeah, what is his catalog?
I'm not into it.
Can he sing covers? Can you sing "The Boys Are Back in Town"? That'd be good.
I don't
like
know
that song. All right, so we still got to figure out if the Weeknd is one guy.
Yeah,
we have solved nothing.
Well, you know what, Patrick, save that question for next week, and let's just figure it out. Is the Weeknd one guy?
Put a pin in that one. Next question. Which team has the potential for the most players to get in trouble the week leading up to the Super Bowl? We always have some salacious story when it comes to players getting in trouble, staying out too late. Solicitation is always on the table.
Eugene Robinson
soliciting a prostitute. I think it was a policewoman.
Yeah.
Undercover. Can I say this for soliciting a prostitute? If you officers dress up as the prostitute to bust us, I don't think it should be a crime. If it wasn't for you, there would be no crime. You can't dress up. You can't commit a crime to enforce another crime. That should just be in the bylaws somewhere.
So you Patrick Ramirez whips out, and you've eloquently stated basically what entrapment is. So you're going with the entrapment argument.
Yeah. Why can they dress up as prostitutes and bust people? How's this legal? What if I was like a drug dealer and then the cops bust me and I go, oh, I got you. I was just seeing if you were going to bust me. It seems like there would be quite the defense for getting busted for soliciting a prostitute who's an undercover office. That makes no sense. You're supposed to stop the criminals, not trick criminals into committing more crimes. Beyond that, I have no thoughts on the matter.
All right, I'm with you. But to answer your original question, it's going to be the Chiefs. They're coming into Tampa Bay. Like we talked about. The Buccaneers already have a place to stay. They're not going to be scrambling for hotels, and if they do have night escorts, it's already been arranged, and they already have the rhythm down. they're gonna go to their go-tos. You go to your go-to hoe. They got that. They're fine.
Gotta have your guma ready at the right Motel 6.
So the Chiefs are more, but then again, on the flip side, we talked about the experience that Brady and Gronkowski bring to the Bucks, but guess what? The Chiefs did it last year, and they managed okay in Miami. So no reason why the Chiefs shouldn't fare well in Tampa.
I say the Bucks get more in trouble because I think the Chiefs
really.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are a little more locked in. I think they're the defending champs, so they're like all business, gentlemen, all business. The Bucks, they already know all the hot spots. They know where they can be caught, where they cannot be caught, and never underestimate Gronk. He loves to have a good time. So I think we got Tampa Bay potential, at least one arrest in the week leading up to it.
Let's see.
Okay, last question. Here's the biggest question. If Tom Brady wins this Super Bowl, should he retire right there on the field?
Arguably, he should have retired after the Falcons Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It's like you go, after he came back to beat the Falcons, you're thinking, Tom, you just came back, you won your 5th. No one's won 5, so you're done, man. No one has you. And he came back and then beat the Rams, so no, I don't think he should retire.
What better way to retire though? No, I do not want to see Tom Brady retire because he can't throw the ball anymore. He can't move.
Elway and Manning, both Broncos quarterbacks, are the only ones to do that. Okay, but Manning was different because Manning, he needed a great defense. That year, the Broncos had a great defense. The 2015 Broncos, they were stacked. Von Miller, and they basically, they really helped that one. But Elway won 2 straight Super Bowls to end that career, and he could have threatened to win a 3rd. I think had they kept the band
who won the Super Bowl after that? Could he have won the 3rd? I can't.
That would have been the Rams. The Rams won the next year.
It was Rams Titans.
It was right? Rams Titans. So that would have been a tall task for the Broncos to come and beat because it was that Broncos team, the second championship team, that I think they ended up 13-0.
Yeah,
before they lost their first game.
Undefeated talk.
Yeah, there was some undefeated talk with them.
They could have made a run at the 3-peat. That's true.
But so you're right, Patrick. I mean, why not go out on top? But I'm not gonna. Who are we to say, or who is anybody to tell Tom Brady you need to stop?
That's true. He's earned the right to stop when he wants to stop. I just think it'd be fitting. It's like, look at this. Not only did I win another Super Bowl, I did it on a totally different team. I'm retiring. Gold jacket me. See you guys later.
Let's say that next, he win or lose, he's playing next year, and he's playing the Monday Night Football game week 4. Let's say it's Tampa Bay at Minnesota. He throws 2 interceptions in the first quarter, gets sacked a few times in the second quarter, and in halftime he says, "Hey, coach, I'm done. I'm done." Does it take away his GOAT status? I don't think so. He's just saying, I can't do it anymore, and we have to respect that. So if he wants to come back, come back.
Hey, when did we start using the term GOAT as greatest? Because don't you remember when somebody would do something bad in a game, you would say oh, he's the GOAT of the game. He missed that kick. He's the GOAT. And that was a pejorative. And then the GOAT turned into the greatest of all time. I never signed off on GOAT as being greatest of all time. It used to mean one thing. You can't just flip it just because the acronym matches up. Can be dude,
I really do think it was first used, and I'm biased. I think it was first used when people were referring to Jerry Rice as the GOAT.
Oh, really? I was going to say Kobe or something. It feels like I heard GOAT for less than 8 years.
I think on an NFL standpoint, you say who's the greatest receiver of all time, and then when you say greatest football player of all time, pre Tom Brady, I think people would talk Jerry Rice, maybe Lawrence Taylor. I mean, would you disagree with that? Joe Montana, Johnny Unitas is up there. Obviously, that conversation's over. It's Tom Brady, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, are you bothered by GOAT?
I'm bothered because it doesn't make any sense. It used to mean one thing, and now it means the exact opposite just because the acronym word. You can't be like, hey man, you're the GOAT. You'll be the first time you heard that, you would be like, what? GOAT?
Yeah.
What did I do? And it'd be like greatest of all time. It would be like someone would be like, hey, what's going on, man? Hey, Tiny Dick, what's going on? You'd be like, Tiny Dick? Like, yeah. Technically, and you had a whole little like acronym for Tiny Dick. I don't agree. I think we can do better than GOAT. It used to mean something bad, and now it means the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, it's greatest of all time.
Beyond that, I have no thoughts on the matter.
Who gives a fuck?
Okay, let's go to the awards. The awards. And this has no other theme besides conference championship themed awards this week. I got 5 awards. Award number 1, coldest good game handshake award, goes to Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Did you see this?
That was brutal. That was awkward. You could tell Aaron Rodgers, you could tell there was no place Tom Brady wanted to be. And you could tell that there was that Aaron Rodgers would have rather been in a fiery hell as opposed to that handshake at that moment. So yeah,
that was icy.
It was so icy. I don't think it's any animosity between the two. It was just, he got you. You know, Aaron Rodgers, he got you. So it's over.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't even look at him. They shake hands, and Aaron Rodgers does the take care. And when you hear take care in an email,
you're saying we're not going to talk about this again.
Where this is take care. It's right up there with good for you. Good for you never means good for you. It means I can get the hell out of here.
Good for me, good for you. You know, good for
That's what Aaron Rodgers should have done.
He should have gone Beetlejuice.
He should have done full Beetlejuice. He could have done take care, Beetlejuice, or done the thing where you stick out your hand and you go too slow. That would have been the only that's like, let me get one on this guy.
And then maybe goosed him. You know, right in the
It's like, I'll show you who's the GOAT. All right, award number 2. This is who's responsible for this award? Packers offensive decision. Who made this decision to kick the field goal on 4th down?
It was obviously LaFleur, and it was a bad decision. Now looking back on it, it was obviously, you know, hindsight's always 2020. It's late, but it's on LaFleur.
I agree. It didn't make any sense. It almost felt like I wasn't even curious about it at the time. I was thinking, kicking the field goal. Wait, there's 2 minutes down by. Why are you kicking a field goal? Well, they must know what's going. Like, I didn't even question it at first because it was so off. That's the who's responsible for this award. Next award. This is the what could have been award. Do you have any desire to have seen a Packers Bills Super Bowl? You know, I love my what could have beens. Packers Bills.
Blue collar towns, communities that are so involved and invested with those franchises. That could have been a real cool treat for 2 small market teams.
Okay, that's an argument for it. I had no desire until you sort of said that. Next award. Oh, you know what? I was telling you I was watching a bunch of conference championship games over the years. I watched 1990 Giants San Francisco, the one where the Giants go to the Super Bowl.
Let's stop talking about that one.
This is a what if Super Bowl. If San Francisco wins,
what if Roger Craig holds on to that ball and doesn't fumble that ball?
The Roger Craig fumble, the fake punt from the Giants, and then say the 49ers win that game. By the way, the Giants don't even score a single touchdown in that game. It's all field goals.
Right.
Say if the 49ers win that game, they're going for the three-peat. Joe Montana is knocked out of that game.
But here's the thing. We have Steve Young, who's a Hall of Famer. So
Steve Young would have started. Was there any chance Montana would have played in that Super Bowl?
No,
I don't know.
No way. He was knocked.
Because he doesn't play for like 2 years after that.
Right. So no, that was definitely
that's a great what if Super Bowl.
Great what if. Who knows?
Okay, next award. Keep an eye on them award. That goes to the New England fans. I feel New England fans might be very upset tonight that their own Tom Brady is in the Super Bowl without them. What do you think New England's fans are reacting to tonight? Are they upset? Are they happy for Brady?
Let's role play here. I'm Tom Brady. In my nice Florida, Tampa, Florida mansion right now, and I'm sipping a bourbon. He probably doesn't. He probably has some, maybe like a, some sort of celery or something juice, whatever. And I'm thinking, fuck him, fuck him. He's going for his championship. I think he's bringing a certain fan base from New England, but I don't think he cares about it. He is.
So, and Brady doesn't care. But what about the fans? Are the fans happy for him? Or
how could you not be happy for him?
I don't know. Boston fans are not happy like that.
New England was a laughing stock prior to Tom Brady. And it was okay. So maybe they had under Parcells, they had a few playoff years with Bledsoe, but prior to that, weren't those Patriots? Remember those old red jerseys and white pants? Weren't those guys like 1-15 consistently? 2-2 and 14
years.
The Steve Grogan years,
the Andre Tippett years,
the Q Millen years, Scotty Zolak and
Zolak.
I'm just reaching back in. They were losers, you know what I mean? Just complete losers. They had a Hall of Famer, was that offensive lineman that was before our time a little bit. John Hanna? I
don't even remember.
Yeah, no, it was just but other than that, like you said, the Andre Tippett years, they had nothing else going on for them.
So you're saying the Patriots fans are happy for Tom Brady?
You have to be, because if it wasn't for Tom Brady, you'd still be in the shitter.
I don't think I think they're only happy when good stuff happens to them. I think they're upset. I think they're like, we should have kept Brady, dude. It could have been us, dude. He's over there with fucking Tampa Bay, dude, in the warm, sunny sunshine.
Yeah, okay. That they do not like, that it's in Tampa Bay where they don't like that. They're freezing their nuts off right now.
Last award. It's going to be a long off-season award. And that's going to be to the Aaron Rodgers rumors. Yep. I think we're going to hear a lot of shit talk. We're going to hear rumors nonstop.
I'm going to add. I'm going to buy that, and I'm going to do you one more. Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones will not be back with the Green Bay Packers.
Maybe they could team up and do like a 2-man kind of off-season rampage, and they want to go somewhere together, but not Green Bay. To like put us somewhere where someone can actually coach, and they're just talking trash, and they're like, Brady did it. Give us someone. Maybe it's going to be a long off season.
Yeah, it will be.
All right. Good awards. Okay. That moves us on to the unveiling of the championship round of the football movie bracket. As you know, let me give you the matchups. We got in the final four, Rudy versus Varsity Blues. The votes are in. Rudy. Moving on.
Rudy. It's Rudy.
Championship round.
No doubt.
Not surprised. The other side of the bracket.
That was the Chiefs-Bills matchup.
Other side of the bracket, the Waterboy versus Remember the Titans. And winning that vote handily, might I add. Remember the Titans is in the finals. We got Rudy versus Remember the Titans. More controversy in the votes I had this week, too. People People upset about movies that weren't in there. People talking trash about the water.
I'm still pissed off that you put Last Boy Scout in there. You know what I mean? So we'll talk about that some other time.
I didn't put it in there. They won the ACC. They have to go in by rule. That's how it works. Some teams
you're as bullshit as the old BCS, but fine.
BCS. How dare you? All right. Early storylines going into the Super Bowl. We'll finish off with this. Early storylines. What do you think about this? Storyline number 1. Brady gets inducted into the Hall of Fame at halftime of the Super Bowl. Might as well.
So as he's walking off the field, they hand him a gold jacket. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Or how about he just wears a gold Tampa Bay Buccaneers jersey for the rest of his career?
Oh, and so he plays in it. During the Super Bowl, it's the gold jersey that he's wearing, and the rest of the Bucks aren't. You can't touch him or sack him.
No, I say he can still play regular. You just everybody knows this guy's a walking, playing Hall of Famer. If anybody should play while currently being in the Hall of Fame, it should be him. So I say they give him a gold Hall of Fame jersey, and he plays in it. Storyline number 2, I like this one.
Patrick, real quick on that note, I think that NHL, if I'm not mistaken, they retired 99. I don't think a person can play with Wayne Gretzky's old number.
Oh, the NHL retired 99 for everyone?
I think, and I got to look that up. And would you be okay with them retire with the league retiring 12, which is a popular quarterback number?
I'd be okay with it. It also opens the conversation to, do we retire 23 from the NBA? That would be worthy of retiring also. The only hard part with the NFL.
Good point.
There's a lot of players on an NFL team. Like, are we going to run out of numbers at some point?
Well, we're making an exception for one human being, not, obviously.
Yeah, now we got 98 numbers.
Obviously,
number zero. Bring back the zero.
Bring back the zero or the double
zero.
That'd be a great for a defensive lineman. That'd be the
double zero needs to be a number. You're right. We need a double zero.
A defensive lineman that comes off the edge. That would be just insane. But obviously, baseball did something different with their number 42 and Jackie Robinson. And again, I'm not saying Tom Brady did anything close to what Jackie Robinson did, but I think retiring his number may be, number 12. I mean, number 20, number 23 from the NBA. These are two numbers now that you're just not going to reach that threshold. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Storyline number 2. Andy Reid has a chance at revenge against Tom Brady when he beat him against the Philadelphia Eagles.
A young Tom Brady. That was a young
Tom Brady. I think they went. I think that was their second Super Bowl.
That was the Super Bowl where they were saying that Donovan McNabb was vomiting in the huddle. Yeah. He was winded, and Terrell Owens.
Terrell Owens has a great game, like on a broken
foot, and basically would have had an MVP performance. I was just thinking today actually that only one player was it. Chuck Howley is the only MVP from a Super Bowl in Super Bowl 5 against the Colts, Cowboys versus Colts, that the Cowboys lost, but Chuck Howley won the MVP for the Cowboys, and it's never been done. And that probably the performance Terrell Owens had was probably worthy of an MVP, but obviously he lost. That's a great little Andy Reid's first trip to a Super Bowl, and it was Tom Brady that threw him out.
Yeah, revenge bowl. All right, storyline number 3. Here's one. If Mahomes wins, Mahomes can get the jump on Brady. Remember, Brady beat him in the conference championship a couple years ago. Then Mahomes beat him in the conference championship following. It's 1-1. Now, say he beats him in the Super Bowl, it's 2-1 Mahomes versus Brady. Maybe
No,
Mahomes.
no. Let me take you back. In the second year, the last year, Tom Brady lost to the Titans.
Last year?
He lost to the Titans. It was a pick six. It was the Titans in the championship.
Who did the Chiefs beat they beat the Titans in the conference
Yeah,
championship last
they
year?
beat the Chiefs
Oh,
in
I
the
thought it was the
conference.
Patriots.
No, it was the Chiefs and the Chiefs beat the Titans. It was
Oh.
but you're right. I mean,
So he can just even up the score.
we could, but still, obviously Mahomes wants to outdo Brady. That's going to be the past versus the present and future. It's all right here.
Yeah. Okay. And then final storyline. How many flashbacks do we think you were going to get this week to the John Gruden year when Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl? We got Warren Sapp. We got John Lynch footage to put out there. We have
Mike
who else was on that
Allstott,
team? Rondé Barber, or was it the other Barber?
Rondé Barber, Derek Brooks, Simeon Rice. Great teams, man.
Are you okay with John Gruden era Tampa Bay flashbacks?
I'd be much happier with Tony Dungy flashbacks on those teams.
Give it to Tony Dungy instead. He should get half a ring for that.
He should.
Half a ring. All right. We got 2 weeks till the Super Bowl. Storylines, potential drama. We're going to hear what happened with Aaron Rodgers, potentially. Obviously, no Pro Bowl, but it's going to be good. Nah, so don't need for the Pro Bowl.
I don't think I've seen the Pro Bowl since 91.
So no Sunday night talk for the Pro Bowl, if they were even going to have it.
We're going to have Sunday night talk. We're going to do Sunday night talk. We're going to do an award show, right?
Yeah, we're going to do the awards, and then we're going to reveal the winner of the football movie playoff
bracket. And then we're going to do our Super Bowl prediction.
And then we got a Super Bowl preview. So yes, there will be a show next week.
All right. So let's leave it at that. So let's make it happen next week.
All right. Conference championship. We know who's in the Super Bowl. For Omar Carmona for the Sunday Night Talk. We'll see you guys next week. Bye. That is the show for this week. That is the Sunday Night Talk. That is the conference championship winners and losers. That is the week. That is Sunday. Get ready for a whole nother week. Hey, we got 2 weeks till the Super Bowl, but not to worry. We're going to have a show in between. The week off. We don't take a week off. We have our own annual awards for the season. We're going to put something together. That's right. Don't forget, check out my other shows on my YouTube channel. One coming out tomorrow. One coming out later this week. Got a fun guest in mind. You're going to see who it is. You're going to like it. So thank you, listeners, for listening to the show. I appreciate your support. Go out there. Tell your friends. The Sunday Night Talk. You're ready for Monday. See you next time.